This is a video if you think you don't have energy to read no matter how much you try. So let's get started. The point in this video is I got it from my friends who always complain that they don't have energy. But the very simple thing is, or a very simple question is, no matter how much energy you don't have, when you reach home after doing your chores, or maybe not even doing the chores, you plug onto something and you just keep scrolling. It can be anything. But in that scrolling, there is an effort required. And you think it is not something which requires effort, but actually your brain is making decisions. If you want to watch something on some platform, you need to keep scrolling and you figure out what's best for you and what's entertaining or not. In that, mostly we waste 15 to 20 minutes because not everything what they have has to be watched by us, and sometimes because we have scrolled for so much time we just keep on watching. So the point of this video is how you can minimize that and how you can find some time, just one page time for reading. This is a patterned behavior which I have observed personally. I'm not a psychiatrist or medical professional, but these are my personal experiences and how I overcame them. This is what we are going to look in this video. Before we go into the 3 reasons, please understand everything requires an effort, and it depends on you personally what you count something as effort and what you let go. Which brings us to the same analogy, and we will look at while we look at the examples. So the very first reason is exhaustion. In your office life, people say that because of office they don't have the time because they're drained out in the office and all that. But even in lunch breaks or any other breaks, I'm not talking about leisure time talking to friends and colleagues. I'm talking about lunch breaks and breaks which we possibly take alone or with friends. We are always getting exhausted. You need to conserve that energy, and if you are like 30 plus like me, the energy is much more less compared to what it was back in the 20s. That is a fact. You cannot like turn it on or off by saying 30 is the new 20 and all that stuff. But yes, you have less energy compared to what you had in 20s. So to counter this, I'm not saying don't go with friends or something like that, but we are also chatting and we are also scrolling on our cell phones. And for no matter we are scrolling through Twitter or any kind of social media app, if it is something which is related to your work, of course do scroll it every now and then, like I do for ideas or writing something. I do it personally. But if it's not benefiting you in any way, just don't keep scrolling, because there is a decision fatigue in there. Because when you scroll, you don't realize that your brain is working much faster compared to what it was working earlier before even social media existed, kind of thing. So that's the reason you get exhausted, and by the end of the day when you come home, you have so much information which you think you have not grasped or imbibed, but your subconscious has taken that information based on the conditioning of the mind and all that, but that's another thing. But yeah, it has taken down that information some or the other way, and that is what is causing exhaustion. So personally I think you can limit the apps, or you can limit the time on the apps. Easier said than done. You can limit the app first, and then you can limit the time on that particular app or any other app. That is what I can say. Or if you want, you can say in the comments how I did it. I simply did it by putting myself off social media and only consuming what was required by me, nothing else. There is no magic pill for this. I was never on Twitter. I was never ever on Instagram. I have the account, but I was never active on Instagram because everyone else had it, so I had it. But I was never active on Instagram. Just understand, what are you gaining from it? Nothing. Yes, now I'm on Twitter, but I only follow like 6 to 7 people who actually talk something useful and I can take something out of it. I only follow those people, and I never select the tab of, for you. I always select your following or something like that. And 5 minutes is the worst case scenario where I go on to the threads and keep reading. Beyond that, I just cannot exceed that time. And it's not like mentally tiring that I have to keep track of this time and with grit I follow it. It's just that I don't keep track of that time. Which brings me to the next point, and that is you glimpse read. Now, if you have an Android phone, on the very left swipe, you have articles from various resources, and you can tune that feed as well. in Apple it's not there, but yes, in Android it's there. So what happens when you scroll through the headlines, you are reading, and that is not considered reading. Even I've said this in my earlier one of my earlier videos. That's not reading, that's glimpse reading. Because of that reading, you get exhausted at the same level like you are actually reading, but you don't get anything out of it. You just scroll through the headlines which are technically not even related to you. There might be some shopping related content, like best way to use this phone or that phone, or things you can do with these 5 apps, that kind of thing. Another is all media and news, which is never ever related to anyone. 80% of the people, I would say. This is my personal view, but yes, you don't get any kind of benefit from it. So because of this glimpse read, you get exhausted again, plus the social media apps, and that's the reason you are not able to actually find time or actually feel like reading anything later on. I'm telling you, I have a video on how reading benefits in the office, and what are the actual things which happen in office, and how reading comes up to save you. You can watch that video. But yes, the main point here is this is the reason you're getting exhausted. And the third point is, I've named it as pleasure has no limits. If you have reached here, I think I've shared something useful. So this pleasure I'm talking about is that while scrolling or while doing any other thing, you find pleasure, but you're not giving enough chance for reading to give you that pleasure which you're trying to get from other things, which is surfing the web or social content or social media or your favorite YouTuber. I'm not saying you should not watch these things. I do watch. Even this is a social platform which you are currently watching on. But the thing is, you're not giving enough time or enough chance for reading to actually become a part of yourself or imbibe it within you, so that you can reap the benefits. You have to give at least 2 to 3 months to actually see the huge chunk of the benefits. The smaller benefits will automatically flow within a week or two, but the actual essence of reading will be felt only after a while. As I told in my personal story back in one of the videos, that even I was not reading. I was I was very irritated to read anything because English is for my second language and I had to refer to dictionary every now and then. So it was very irritating. But when I was slammed in office while having a conversation with one of my project managers, that gave me so much shame within, that I started reading, and I think I have made good progress. And this is a lifelong progress. It's not something that I've read and now I'm all laureate and all that. I don't want to become a laureate, or I don't want to reach any level, but at least I'm comfortable enough to speak, and I'm able to present myself in very simple format. That's what my goal was, and I think I'm doing that well. If you have any comment, please let me know. And the last thing, just ask yourself this question: would you prefer someone dancing on TikTok, or which will gain you nothing if unless you are a dancer, or you can read one page of a book and might get interested in something and might have something new to use in the future. So reading is like building an arsenal, but if you don't give it enough chance, you have nothing as such. And the other things which fall in these categories or pointers are, you keep pushing it on tomorrow. This is a pattern behavior because you're busy with all the other things which may or may not benefit you in the future, but reading is something that actually benefits you every now and then. So please do think about this, and please let me know in the comments if you have anything. Even to roast me, you can do that. I can try to improve myself or maybe ignore you. So that's it for this video. So thank you for watching.